1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. Okay. Make one more. This is like an experiment, by the way, because the charger on my computer, which I use to do all this shit, died. But luckily I don't edit my videos, so I'm attempting to do it on my phone, and then I'll just like upload directly from my phone, which I've never ever done before. But I hope it works, you know, whatever. Okay, where was I? Where was I? Oh yeah, they all hear Gina's voice from the banister above. Gina, bow down to the queen, bitch. She and Nada tip over a big-ass cooking pot and pour down a whole shitload of fake blood, Carrie style, onto the spirit, quote-unquote. He stands there, now covered invisible, in a puddle of sticky, dark, red shit. Everyone can see that it's the dripping form of a man. Stunned and totally lost for what to do, he drops the fencing sword with a little clatter on the floor. Quote-unquote spirit, ... Well, Essie, Bagel, Fox, and a bunch of the boys jump on him like a group of savages, getting covered in fake blood. They easily overwhelm him and tie him up with scarves and long johns. Again with the long johns. Remember what happened to Kyle? I don't forget. And you know what? I was just about, when my charger on my computer died, finally. It's been like on and off for a while, but I thought it would last longer. But, like, it finally gave out, and it was right on the day when I was finally about to watch Terminator and learn the truth about Kyle Reese. But I will have to wait till later. Where was I? Okay, they easily overwhelm him and tie him up with scarves and long johns. His struggling is useless. At last, they all back off of him, and he's sitting tied up on the floor. Everyone dances around him in a circle, celebrating. Everyone singing. Nana. Oh, I thought it was gonna be, because there's a bunch of nanas, I thought it was gonna be na 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 na, hey hey, or whatever. It's not. It's apparently this. Everyone's singing. Na 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 na. Ghostbusters! Woo! Vicky hurries to attend to Fox, all worried. Don't we all want a Vicky? Vicky, oh Fox, you're hurt. Vicky tries to get all in his space, but Fox pushes him back. Fox scoffs slightly. Hardly. He faces Vicky, and the cut he had previously is gone. Vicky, eyes get big. How'd you do that? Fox, smart ass-ish. It's complicated. Pauses. Actually, it's not. I just don't feel like explaining it. Basically. That's just like, yeah, I don't know. I had a story I was gonna tell, but I'll tell later or something. Vicky sighs dejectedly. Meanwhile, Gina, Nada, and the rest of the harem boys reach the bottom of the stairs. Gina, well, I want to hear some stories. To the spirit, quote-unquote. Who are you anyway? You're obviously not really a ghost. You don't follow ghost rules. So who are you, and what are you? Essie, irritated. Yes, I wouldn't mind hearing an explanation, too. He puts his hands on his hips. And you, to Fox. How did you know about him already? Vicky, quietly. An explanation would be nice. Fox and the spirit, quote-unquote, both sigh heavily. They start to answer at the exact same time. Fox and the spirit, quote-unquote. They look at each other. Fox and the spirit. You go first. Spirit, quote-unquote. Oh, no, you go first. I insist. Fox. Oh, no, please, I insist. Go ahead. Spirit. It would be rude of me to go ahead. Fox. Oh, no, not at all. I would be honored. Spirit. Ladies first. Fox. Oh, nonsense. You're a guest in my home. They keep going on like that. Everyone else sighs irritatedly and or face palms. Essie does the stop it motion with his hands. All right, enough. There's only one way to settle this diplomatically. 1 minute later, Bagel is blindfolded as Nada spins him around and around in a circle with everyone else watching. Bagel. Inky binky bonky, daddy had a donkey. Wow, I'm gonna puke, you guys. Essie. Okay, stop. He's had enough. They let Bagel go, and he stumbles all around like a super drunken fool. Everyone watches intently to see where he'll go. At last, after staggering all over the circle, he trips over the spirit, quote-unquote, and falls in his lap. Bagel, woo! The spirit, quote-unquote, sighs. Fine, I'll go first. Can someone get this kid off me? Bagel pulls off his blindfold, still looking a little dazed. Ishmael pats his leg. Come here, boy. I guess it's like this. Come here, boy. Bagel hurries to get up off his lap. And he runs to, is fucking, the Invisible Man still all bloody and nasty? I mean, I know it was fake blood, but still, it shit stains and it gets everywhere and it makes you wet, you know? Anyway, he gets off his lap and runs to Ishmael. They hug like sorority sisters reuniting after a long summer break. I wish I had that, experience. I did have a college friend, but as I said in a previous video, I think, our friendship was basically fucking ruined because of her TV and my inability to communicate. Whatever. That's college shit. What can you expect from a couple of... I want to show my beret. What can you expect from a couple fucking college kids? College kids do not communicate well. Okay? You have to teach them that, and nobody is teaching. You can't just be like, learn it yourself, bootstrap Billy. Anyways. Where was I? Spirit, quote-unquote, ... Right. Anyway, I bet you want to know how I came to be the way I am. Well, the story begins in Essie. Another damn flashback. Spirit, hey, I don't piss on your flashback, so don't piss on mine. Everyone else at Essie. Yeah. Yes, I like the idea that everyone get on Sean Connery's ass like, hey, shut up, we want to see the flashback. You know, Essie backs down, a little embarrassed. Spirit, quote-unquote. Anyway, as I was saying... The screen goes all wavy to flashback. We find ourselves in London in some ghetto-ass... Oh my god, it's time for the small book. When I write at work, like, well, actually, these pages you can tell I wrote at work too, because they have the 4-way crease, which means that I was folding them up and putting them in my pocket. So I would bring just like a couple loose pages. You know, I can only write maybe like 4 pages a day or something if I'm lucky between like in my breaks, like my 15-minute breaks, and like if I really eat lunch fast, you know, and shit like that. So like, I only bring like a couple loose leaf pages, you know, and then, you know, whatever. But then I started getting these small books. So, I don't know. The small books have their advantages and disadvantages. I mean, you can only put so many words on a page, but anyways. Okay, what was it? A shitty ghetto-ass 19 teens looking laboratory. You know the type. Like it's been put together in the attic of some boarding house run by a cutthroat house mother who runs a prostitution ring on the side. Or something like that. Spirit, quote-unquote. I'm not gonna do quote-unquote anymore. I thought it was funny every single time I wrote it to quote-unquote, but let's just say it's a given. What's going on in the movie right now? Are they still in Moria? Oh yeah, they're about to see the Balrog. Look at fucking Boromir, like, literally shivering behind Gandalf's back. I love Boromir. He's funny as hell. He has so much personality. He has more personality than anyone else. The only one who has as much personality as Boromir is Sam. Maybe Gimli. Like, maybe Merry and Pippin have some, but, well, Gandalf has some personality too. Okay. I guess Boromir, Sam, and Gandalf have the most personality. Then Merry and Pippin, but they're really just for laughs. But at least that's something, you know. And Gimli can be in there with him, you know. They're kind of like the second tier, you know. And then Frodo and Aragorn are just like, oh, and Legolas too. Bottom tier, man. No personality. I don't know. Anyways. At least Aragorn tries a little bit. Like, he just, you know, you see him trying to take care of people, you know, trying to invoke his maternal instincts. You see him trying, you know. At least he has more personality than in the fucking book. In the book, I swear to God, they're basically just like those little pieces you get when you play the game of life, you know? Those little, like, fucking things you stick in your little, like, car piece, you know? There's every single one of them is just so fucking like boring, and they're all like the same idiot. You know, I'm saying, man, like the setting, the world, dude, the forests and the mountains and shit like that. Tolkien gave them all the personality. He didn't give shit to these like bipeds. Anyways, where was I? Okay, Spirit, voiceover. I love voiceovers. If I ever made a movie, you know how it's gonna go. Well, of course you know how it's gonna go because I've been reading all my screenplays. Okay, Spirit, voiceover. First off, the name's Cutter. First name's Christian, though many of my close friends just call me Wrist. I used to work for a fellow called Bill Sykes. He was a right proper gent. I helped him run his business, of a sort. Quick cutaway to Cutter in visible form. A slightly sketch-looking Dickens character type of dude. Kicking the shit out of some poor other man in a dark alley. Cutter, as he's kicking. You better pay back whatever you... I should, like, hit this thing. You better pay back whatever you owe, or next time I won't be so gentle. That's much better than the clap. Oh my god. I'm only gonna pretend to do it, okay? Because I fucking hate the clap. You don't know how much I fucking hate the clap. I can do the head wave. You know, I use my hands. I'm an Italian or whatever. I don't mind people using their hands when they talk. But just from virtue of the modern age, and I'm sure in the future there will be some new shit that fucking irritates the shit out of me more, and I won't give a fuck about the hand clap anymore. Just like back in the day it was the head wiggle like that, but now that was always funny. The head wiggle is more like amusing, like everybody enjoyed it to an extent, but the hand clap, oh my god, I hate the hand clap. I hate the hand clap. Okay, that's not even really how you do it. You have to do it between words. I'm not gonna do it. I can't bring myself to it because I fucking hate it. Someone has to come up and offer me a house, and then I'll do it, which won't happen, so good. That means I don't have to do it. Anyways, where was I? Okay, Cutter, voiceover. It wasn't a bad job, but eventually the time came for me to move on to other things. Cut back to the lab set as Visible Cutter haggles desperately with a young, slightly kooky-looking scientist. Cutter, please, I'm not asking for much. Just pay me in advance, just this once. If I don't pay back Bill Sykes, by the end of the week, he's gonna have me bloody head on a pike. Scientist, don't worry about that, old scoundrel. I'll help you avoid that bladed, buggered bastard of a Burke. Puts his hands on his hips and laughs. How do you like my bit of alliteration there? Cutter, this is no time for wordy jokes. Cutter, voiceover. I've always taken a bit of an interest in the sciences. Fascinating stuff, that is. So, I became an assistant to a young doctor of chemistry. He had an obsession for something he called astral projection, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. A phenomenon, he calls it, where the soul of a person leaves their body and then returns. Well, no one really understands it, I suppose, but he wanted to understand. And not only that, but to control it too. Of fucking course. Is anybody ever satisfied with just understanding? No, they always want to have it in their power and shit like that. How many fucking superhero fucking villains have been along that route? Probably all of them. To make the soul leave and return on command. Everyone else, voiceover. Ooh. Cutter, voiceover. Indeed. Well, things were alright for a while. But in the end, there was a little mishap. You know, these things can't be helped sometimes. I love it in, I mean, you can probably tell, but I love it in movies where, like, someone's having a flashback, and, like, number one, I like it when somebody's telling a story or having a like, not a flashback, but, you know, retelling something that happened or whatever, and they're, like, voicing over, like, their own escapades, and then they retell it, like, inaccurately, and you see like what really happened. But then I know like a couple movies do that and a couple shows do that, like you see what really happened but then you hear them like using euphemisms and shit. I can't think of like the more famous ones. I know there's like some famous examples but I can't think of them. But The one that I like, the one that I know is like King of the Hill when they're trying to get that fucking stump or whatever. I didn't understand that shit, whatever, but like I guess they can sell it for the wood or something. But anyways, where was I? Where was I? Anyways, whatever. What's his face? Lucky was talking about his dad or uncle or something, or his grandpa, I think, somebody like that. And he's like, yeah, he just happened to be walking in the forest. But then you see, like, in the flashback, he's like he's escaping from prison. He's like in a prisoner's uniform. And then they're like, oh, sadly a storm came over the ridge and prevented him from getting the stump. And it's like, then you see like over the ridge, it's like the warden and like a bunch of prison guards with hounds and shit. And then he's like, oh, like sadly my old pappy passed away before he could realize his dreams or something. And then you see like the prison like lights like the prison lights are like flickering, you know, and shit. And it's like, yeah, anyways. Oh yeah, and the other thing I like is when people input into the story, like in that movie House, the Japanese movie House, where she's telling the story of like her was it her grandpa or uncle? I think it was her uncle, the one that died in the plane. And she's like, yeah, she's telling the story, and then it's like, you see all the soldiers marching off to war, but it's like, you see her and her friends walking in amongst the soldiers, like as if they had been there, you know, and one of the girls is even like, oh, look at how hot the soldiers are, and as if she can really see them, you know, and shit. That's a cool movie. I mean, it's kind of sad, but it's very cool. A lot of cool ideas. Anyways, where the fuck was I? I have to go back a page. Okay. But in the end, there was a little mishap. You know, these things can't be helped sometimes. Mistakes will be made. Cut to Cutter being chased around the lab. Terrified by the scientist. Scientist, creepily. Come here, my pet. I'm not going to hurt you. Cutter. Anyone ever says, I'm not gonna hurt you, like, you should be scared. Because it's kind of like that shit people always say where it's like, people try to start conversations like, oh, not trying to be racist, but blah, blah, blah. You know, it's like, I just heard that on John Oliver the other night. It's like, don't fucking say not to be racist. It's like, obviously anything that comes after that is going to be racist. So you equally shouldn't say, I'm not going to hurt you. Because if you're in the situation where somebody is scared enough of you in the first place to think that you're going to hurt them, if you say that, it's just creepier. You know, if it really is a misunderstanding, like say you creep up to someone in a dark house or some shit, but it's really your house and you're just coming home and they're freaking out because they're on mushrooms or some shit like that, or something like that, don't say, I'm not gonna hurt you, because it's just creepy. Just to play it up. See, this is what people don't understand. They take things too seriously. You need a comical mind sometimes, or not comical necessarily, but just a laid-back mind to have real good situations and things to de-escalate. And not de-escalate in this fucking stupid corporate psychological crap, but just in a normal layman's terms of nice chillness and shit like that. So it's like, if someone's upset, I think it's better to just be like, well, what's going on, you know, like, what's the matter? Just act like they're the one. I feel like I've said this on camera before, but just like act like, well, so I know some asshole, if anybody ever watched this video, which they're not, but if they did, they'd be like, oh no, you're not supposed to do that because it will freak the person out even more. How do you know? Maybe if it's your friends. You don't know my friends. Anyways, everyone's different, right? It's kind of scary in this country how much, like, when I was growing up in the good old 90s, that we always had this thing of, like, everyone's different. You gotta just talk to people one-to-one as a human and ask what they need and just be good to people and, you know, just treat them individually, because there is no one-size-fits-all result. You know, it's just like, you just have to take people one-on-one and figure out the individual solution for each person in each situation. But it's kind of scary, honestly, how much that has been, like, abandoned in recent years, like, especially the last 5 years. I feel like how much people are now turning on that idea and trying to say, like, no, actually everyone is the same. Actually, there is one-size-fits-all solutions to everything, and it's actually the minority of the time when someone's different, and just basically trying to erase all that individuality we had acknowledged before. So, on that note, bye!